In 1965, I was 21, 53 years ago. There was a draft, and we were at war. The young poet for the youth of America had a popular song that he released in '65 called Subterranean Homesick Blues, Bob Dylan. And in that song, he said, "Get jailed, jump bail, join the army if you failed."
Of course.
Obviously, he was a Marine. But you can hold it against him.
That's cool.
So rally around the flag, Bob. The mantra was "Hell no, I won't go." Well, I goed. In 1968, I was drafted. I served as a Marine from '68 to '72. I spent 12 months training for Vietnam, 6 months in Okinawa in Japan. I was in Vietnam for 48 days, and then I spent 16 months recuperating in a Navy hospital in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. So that was my military career. When I got out, like most vets, nobody seemed to know or care about Vietnam. Nobody wanted to talk about it. We sure didn't want to talk about it. I didn't talk about it. I just put it in the drawer and got on with my life, and I've been blessed with a wonderful family, and I've had a wonderful life. Joining the Mighty Penn kind of brought some memories out of the past, and I've started re-engaging thoughts of the past and have been talking more about it probably in the last 3 years than I did in the last 35 or 40 years. In the last several years, it's become popular to tell a vet, "Thank you for your service." When I first started hearing that, I just kind of spontaneously responded, it's been an honor and a pleasure and a privilege. And people just kind of didn't know what to say. I know that sounds kind of glib, and that's an easy response, but I can tell you that it truly was an honor and a privilege. You just imagine the honor for a skinny kid from the south side of Chicago to serve as a Marine and actually be bestowed with the responsibility to protect this country of 250 years of tradition and history. If you think about that, at least when I think about it, it truly is an honor. It's almost, not to get too dramatic, but it's almost like a Roman centurion. It's one of the greatest honors of my life. Now that that's done, we can get on with the interesting part of my talk. Jay, who I met through Mighty Penn Project, is a bona fide, legitimate man of courage. The Army has 4 awards for valor, and they rank Medal of Honor, Distinguished Service Cross, Silver Star, and Bronze Star. Not everybody gets them. Some people get them that don't deserve them. Some people deserve them and they don't get them. Jay got 2 of them.
Whoa.
And the 9th of May, 1968, he was a platoon commander. His unit came under intense small arms fire. That's the common term for you're in a lot of trouble. And it's pretty easy to skate over that, but I can tell you, if you're being shot at from people you can't see, it's loud, it's cacophonous, it's terrifying. And so that's what he was met with. Plus, he had the responsibility as a platoon commander of making sure his men were doing the right thing that they didn't run or go the wrong direction, so he had to have his wits about him with that. And apparently there was a entrenched bunker to his front, and so, like most reasonable people, instead of ducking down and maybe looking around and trying to find cover, Jay decided to attack the entrenchments. Despite the continued enemy fire, oh wait a minute, that's the second. Okay. Taking the enemy by surprise, he led his men in assault. As the men continued to advance, a heavy volume from a machine gun bunker. Jay advanced toward the enemy, hurling a grenade, which momentarily silenced the enemy in place. Okay, so Jay's got his rifle, all his stuff. He's telling his men what to do. He's throwing grenades at the enemy. He threw a second grenade, and immediately after it exploded, he rushed the enemy position to throw a third grenade directly through the portal.
Yay!
I think, completely destroying the emplacement. Now, I can't imagine. I can't imagine. You can imagine what that action actually entailed. The courage, the wits that he had about him, the leadership. For that, he got a Silver Star. And just unbelievable. And Marines don't like to really. We don't like to compliment Army people. Okay, so he waited 24 days. I don't know what he was doing, but 24 days, his unit came under, again, small arms fire, firing at him. And apparently one of his men got wounded. So Jay, again, the responsibility of protecting his men and leading them, he went up, he got the wounded man, dragged him back to behind him so he could find protection. And then he went back up to the front of his men, and the Bronze Star says that he killed a Viet Cong soldier and led his men on the assault, and they secured the position. So for this, he got a Bronze Star with a Combat V for valor. Now, any one of those 4 awards is believe me, it's just staggering. And this gentleman got 2 of them.
Wow.
So
Congratulations.
Hero is an overused word, but this man's a hero. But beyond that, he's a man of courage and quite a leader.
Thanks, Bob.
By the way, I didn't say 10 minutes each.
There's another show.
I too volunteered for some reason and went into the Army as a private,
Wow.
did basic training. And since I got to choose my branch, I chose infantry for some reason. So I went to advanced infantry training and then was selected to go to infantry OCS. So 39 weeks later, I was over in Vietnam and left a wife, and Dixon in the audience was just born. And I was gone for a year, but despite all the things that Bob said, I was never wounded. I don't know why.
Wow.
I led a charmed life in many ways. I want to thank the Mighty Pen Project because it got me in contact with Mr. Robbins, and I learned a lot from him, and I made a wonderful friend in Bob. We live a mile apart from each other. Didn't know it.
You can walk together.
My daughter Amy and his son Tucker dated in high school. Didn't know. So we meet in the Mighty Penn Project, and the Mighty Penn Project has meant so much to me because it finally made me own my military service. After 30 years or so of kind of unhappy with the whole situation, you know, we tried, we did the best we could. And so that was just the way it was. I want to tell a story about a man, young lieutenant in the Marines, artillery forward observer, in combat for the first time. As the man is sitting right here, as he said, he had a lot of training, and he was in a firefight pretty soon after he got it in Vietnam. And they were being overrun, but he was calling in the artillery all around, suppressing the enemy, calling in mortars, doing everything he was trained to do and doing it perfectly. They had an armored vehicle next to them. They were dug in near that, and the enemy took an RPG, which is a rocket-propelled grenade. You've seen them in movies, etc., and hit that vehicle. And a piece of shrapnel eviscerated Bob, literally. And he was lying there. They triaged him, and well, there's nothing we can do. We got to get dust off. We got to get choppers. The Marine said, we can't fly into this. We can't send anybody in there to get him out. And so he was going to die in 2 or 3 hours. There's no question. There was an Army warrant officer who was flying a Chinook helicopter. That's the great big one with the double rotors. He got onto the net and he said, I'm coming in, mark a drop zone. So he took that big helicopter in under intense fire, and somehow they got Bob on there and got him out and saved his life. So a miracle happened, and he's here. During that, like he said, he spent 13 months in the Navy hospital. His whole insides were rebuilt. And a lot
We
of
all
the-
have a guardian angel.
And all that was experimental. They said, well, it might last 10 years. 50 years till this year, it held up. But then he had a terrible attack of blockage and he nearly died just right here in the last couple of months. But he's up and moving, and we're all very happy about that. And for his action in Vietnam, he was awarded the Bronze Star.
Whoa.
So. We are 2 very lucky gentlemen.